ClickView works with associations very much like our mind. To do so, it presents data in multiple views that are all interrelated. We call these different views objects. They are there to enable you to make selections for the data you want to explore and to represent data in a usable format. In this video, we will introduce you to the main objects that you will work with in ClickView. The simplest object is the list box. As the name implies, it contains a list of data, like for instance a list of years, a list of months, a list of regions, or a list of managers. The primary use for a list box is to make a selection. As explained in a previous video, when I make a selection in a list box, the value selected gets a green background and all the other objects are adjusted to reflect my selection. The values highlighted with a white background are still relevant to my selections, but the grey ones are not. List boxes therefore guide me and point me in the direction in which I can start my business discovery. The next type of object is the chart. On this sheet, we have two types of charts. The first one is the pie chart. In this case, it represents the contribution of sales from each data type. I can easily see that the bottle store account for nearly a third of all my sales. The second chart that we have here is a bar or line chart. It gives me a good visual of business trends over time. Here we are comparing 2012 sales, the blue bar, and the 2011 sales, the red line. The third type of object we are looking at is the table object. As you can see, it looks very much like a traditional report where we analyze an aspect of the business against specific measures. We have two examples here. In the first table, we analyze the performance of our salespeople and compare their 2012 sales versus their 2011 sales, and we calculate a variance. We also show the contribution of each salesperson to the total sales. In the second table, we see similar information, but this time for our datas. In a table object, you can sort any column in ascending or descending order by simply double-clicking on its header. When you do that, a triangle will appear next to the column header to reflect the sorting. I can therefore sort my data alphabetically, which is not necessarily useful for me. As you can see, Alfred Jobs comes to the top purely because his name starts with an A, but he hardly contributes to my sales. It is far more useful for me to sort on the percentage contribution in decreasing order so that I can see who my top performers are. If I want to see my other salespeople, I can simply scroll down. We only show you the top salespeople because the 80-20 rule usually applies in most things in business. We therefore get you to focus immediately on what matters. Similarly, if I want to find out who are the customers with the biggest sales variance, I simply double-click on the header and see that Preston's Ace shows the biggest positive variance, whilst Devil's Peak wines have the biggest negative variance. Every new sort effectively gives me a new report. So to review, we have introduced you to three types of objects: the list box, the chart, and the table. Although we have only shown you two types of charts, there are many more. You will no doubt become familiar with them as you work with ClickView. In the next video, we will show you how to work with these objects by simply clicking on them. This is when the business discovery process starts to happen.